Welcome back to the Work in Process podcast. Thank you so much for joining me and my guest again today on this episode. So, if you have not listened to the previous episode, please go back, listen to the previous episode, and you should then come to this episode because I'm not going to ask Tega to introduce himself again because he has done that already in the previous episode. But Tega is a big time YouTuber, also to say. He's a good guy, about 1.4K subscribers, and he has several contents on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and Instagram, LinkedIn, basically, and on Twitter. I discovered that you are really not paying
Yeah,
so much attention to Twitter
currently, yeah.
currently. I was just in some of your coding stuffs
Yeah.
on Twitter. You're like more of Tega the programmer on Twitter,
On Twitter,
not
yeah.
Tega the public speaker or,
Yeah.
or preacher.
That was on change. That was on change.
That was on change. So Tega, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank
with
you
me.
so much, David,
Really
for the
appreciate.
invite.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. Really appreciate your effort. And we're in this recording space with his personal assistant. I think I would like to recognize her. She has been very quiet, but at least let me just recognize her. Is it Tadishe? Lashe. Oluwa Lashe. Toluwa Lashe. All right. Thank you so much for bringing him here and making sure you make him sit down here because I know with doing this, you can make him feel like round up and all. So thank you so much for accompanying Tega. Yeah. So Tega, I want us to talk about your company, Apex.
Okay.
Right? That's the name, right?
Apex Pathway.
Apex Pathway. All right. I want us to talk about Apex Pathway. Now, you started with the fact that you were going for pitching competitions. You had this idea. You were praying, right?
Yeah.
You were praying, and then you had this idea, and then you decided to pitch this idea at a pitching competition that was hosted in Bowen University. Tell me about the whole process.
Okay. So in my 100 level, I went for the first pitching competition. There's a pitching competition that's hosted every year on campus by the entrepreneurship unit. So when I was in 100 level, I went for that. I came first in that as well. So the idea that I pitched was an academic company as well, but it was for secondary school students basically. So I was thinking about, so this was when I was now in 200 level earlier this year, what exactly can I pitch? Because I want to pitch, right, to test my skills basically. Like that's genuinely what it was about. Like I just want to test my skills, right? Only that, of course, one thing, and I know we're going to talk about this later on, about the idea of pitching and everything. But the truth is, sometimes how you say what you say can matter more than what exactly you are saying, right? So I don't believe it's my idea that won, right? Even though I think it's a good idea, I believe if I pitch someone else's idea, right? Humbly speaking, I think I would still have won, right?
Okay.
And so having said that, I didn't just want to pitch any idea because I can always go ChatGPT, give me a good idea and everything. Like so, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to pitch an idea that I would actually implement. So if some of the judges and the students that were listening that day, heard what I said, if they ask me later on, what's up, how far this idea, I will not say, oh, I just did it for the competition. No, I don't have any intentions of implementing, right? So, and if I didn't get an idea, I was not going to pitch. So I was just praying, and I was not praying for the idea. I was having my quiet time that evening. Right? I was just praying, generally, separate stuff. And it just came to my heart, right?
Yeah.
An academic company for university students. Thinking about it, and if anyone watching maybe wants to put it in the comments, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But when we talk about the company, I don't think there's anyone currently doing what it is that I intend to do. At least doing it at a notable scale, like at a grand scale. And
in Bowen University?
No, generally in Nigeria.
Okay,
not
Nigeria.
The world, just in Nigeria, right? I don't know anyone doing it in universities. The only ones I know of are secondary schools and primary schools, right? So I thought of that. Seemed like a brilliant idea. Asked some of my friends, what are the, basically like what you were talking about with your podcast. Critique this. Why do you think this would not work? Do you think it's a good idea? If this comes to life, is this something you would engage in? Is something you would pay for? Right. So I started doing that. People asked me, in fact, if you're starting this where we really want to, be invested in it and all the rest. So,
so you're not praying for that idea.
No, I was not.
The idea just dropped while you were praying.
While I was praying.
Okay.
Right. So I got that and everything. So the idea basically was to help university students get better grades, basically. So what would happen is I would meet brilliant students on campus, right? We would have a criteria for screening them. So the criteria that I currently use is if you got an A or a B in that particular course. If you got an A or a B, my assumption is that you know the course to at least more than an average level, right? So you can teach that course. So what would happen is you would create video courses on that particular subject. So say you were teaching physics, right? You would use your laptop, you write notes and everything, and you would just teach that. So basically some of the stuff we see on YouTube, maybe organic chemistry tutor and all these type of things. So you're just teaching that. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to, right? Because I have created courses I've created courses before for some of the 100 level students in school, right? So I didn't show my face. I was just screen recording, and solving some
when you
questions.
say created courses, what do you mean? Like,
I mean that, so I get the course curriculum, right? The scheme of work for that particular course. And what I'm doing basically is I'm making videos on each topic. So instead of what your lecturer is doing in class by writing down, right, I'm making them into.
So you're basically like you're basically like those Indian guys on YouTube.
Exactly, right. I'm like.
Are you a science student? Okay, I know you. It's only science student that will really understand the Indian guys on YouTube. Yeah.
So I'm basically like the Indian guys, and I wanted to spread that. So obviously I'm good at math, right? So I can teach that, but that's pretty much it, right? I can't really teach any other thing. So I'm going to reach out to people who are brilliant in other courses, in health sciences, in social management sciences, in mass communication, and bring them together. And you're going to create courses that you think your classmates or people in lower level struggle with. Right? So we're going to put that on one platform. So basically like Udemy, Coursera, and all the rest. And we're going to push it in Bowen firstly. Right. So anyone that's struggling with that course, they can get that and they can, begin watching that. How it varies from what happens in lectures is in lectures, obviously, you have a 2-hour lecture. Not everyone can ask questions. I know they always say ask the question, but even me, right? There are some questions that I cannot ask because I don't want people to say that I'm not ready. So I'd rather just go to my room and ask my friends. Right. So people have that same phobia. People have that same phobia with asking questions and everything.
I'm just trying to see if the mic is so that we don't.
So that's one issue that it solves. Another issue is the whole repetitiveness. So I understand what happened in class, but probably I don't read my books till it's time for exams. But I need to go back to it. I don't understand again. So what's going to happen? I have video courses. I can always access them at any point in time. And then finally, I've come to understand that as a student, we learn better when our fellow students teach us. Right? Because one, they know our struggles. They know how to communicate best with us, as opposed to, of course, there are some lecturers that don't meet this rule, that they are just good, right?
And then for a friend, you feel so comfortable with your friend, you can ask a stupid question.
Exactly. So that was the general idea behind Apex and creating the courses, basically.
So it was not you were, because with what I'm seeing now, that's value proposition. You are seeking to add value to the life of students on campus. So it was not like create an app, make money thing.
No, of course.
But is that the profit side?
Yes, there is the profit side of it. So the monetization system is for each instructor that makes courses. When someone purchases that course, so we handle the marketing and everything, right? Of course, you can share your course that, I made a course on this platform and all the rest, but we handle the marketing. So when someone buys the course, you get 70% of what they paid for, and the company gets 30%. Basically, so that's the monetization.
So the person that created the course gets 70%.
And then we get 30%.
So what was your criteria to choose an instructor?
Basically, if you obviously because we're doing like a pilot test in Bowen University to see if it works.
Is that currently ongoing now, the pilot test? Or
we haven't started that one yet. We've just gathered the instructors and they're making the courses and all of that. So we want to do that in Bowen first. And the way we choose instructors is one, you must be in Bowen University. So sort of like a picture of your ID card. And then secondly, a screenshot of your transcript in that particular course. Right. So say you want to make a Math 303 course. Did you get a B or an A in it? So if you did,
before you qualify to be an instructor.
Right. So if you got an A or a B, then you can fly.
So it's just seeking to add value to the student. I know. It's sounding a bit like Udemy to me.
That's exactly.
That's the, so you're just bringing it down to
so Udemy is for general stuff. So
anything.
you want to learn coding,
Yeah.
marketing, but this one is for academic
Academic
courses.
stuff,
Yeah.
and it's streamlined to Bauer University
For now,
for
if
now.
everything works out, I see that it's something a lot of people,
I
because
can go
I don't just
all
want
around
people to tell me this is a good idea.
Okay.
I want to see that people are actually paying for it
for
and
it.
everything.
Okay.
And once I see that, then I have liaisons
Okay.
in Redeemer, so I go to
Yeah,
other
yeah.
private universities basically.
Okay. So you said, because I was watching your video as it relates to that stuff. So you said that you could get a logo design for free, or you could get a logo for free, but you decided to pay for the logo.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to pay for the logo? Number one, and number two, what makes you so sure that paying for the logo would create a better logo than a free logo? Given the fact that you're just still testing out this.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to I'm asking a raw question. I'm just
Yeah.
asking you like, yeah.
Okay. Firstly, I've had other businesses in the past, so little stuff. So before I used to edit people's pictures, I learned picture editing. So I used to retouch their pictures and everything. I started like a video editing agency at some point. So what I used to use was free
Video
logo.
editing agency.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? Are you serious? I don't know how to ask. Even if I think I asked on the previous episode why I studied computer science. I'm still wondering why.
Even me, I don't
I'm
know.
still wondering why. Okay, please go on.
So I have tested. So you go on Google, free logo maker, you will just see something, right?
Okay.
And what it would do is, it would, so you would put the name of your business and what it's about, a description, and it would use like an AI generator to create something for you, right? So if I say, I want to create, I want to start a business on like Apex, it's an academic company. You probably see like a convocation hat. I'm not ready for all those things.
In fact, even Meta AI does something like that.
Yes,
now.
Exactly.
If you type on your WhatsApp, create a logo for me.
Yeah. It's not the best.
Terrible.
Right? So I look at big companies' logos. Udemy, for example, it has nothing to do with teaching on their logo. It's just Nike has nothing to do with sports, right? Jumia as well has nothing to do with food. So all of the big brands.
Do you know the story behind the Nike logo?
No, I don't know.
Do you know the story behind the Nike logo? Okay, so have you read the book Shoe Dog?
No.
By Phil Knight?
No.
Oh, bro, you should get that book. Phil Knight was the founder of Nike. I know. You should get the book Shoe Dog. So the Nike logo was actually, they were looking for a logo design, right? So Phil Knight was like, okay, let's contract this out and all. But it was not working. They were not really enjoying it. So at that point in the business, he had to take up a teaching job at a particular university. I don't know, I don't want to mix the story up, but read the book, you understand what I'm saying. So obviously the business was doing well, then they got to a point, things were not really going well, so he had to get a job at least to support his family. So he was a lecturer in a university.
Yeah.
So one day he was just passing through the arts department, and then he saw a particular lady making a painting and all. And I think he admired the painting and everything, and then he asked her, can you make a logo for my company? Can you like paint a logo for my company? And it was like, okay, we need it very like urgently. So I think they had a deadline because he had to give the logo to the production factory that will put it on the shoe. So there's a story behind how they got the name Nike and how they got the logo. So the lady now brought back to their company that all she could just come up with in that frame of time was a swoosh, because it was an athletic company. So she was like swoosh. So Fiona was like, this design is too simple. People were complaining. So I think he said, one of his guys just said, oh, but it sounds like the sound of an athlete running past you at very high speed. So that's like,
yeah.
So that was the interpretation of that sound to her as an artist was like,
yeah.
So she made it very well, and then they just agreed that was the best thing for the logo. But the beautiful story there was that I think they paid her, I think $35 for the logo, but they gave her shares.
Oh.
And you should check it out. Her shares today is worth, I think, millions of dollars. She's still alive.
That's amazing.
She's still alive. Her shares today is worth millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And I think for a stint of time, she was like their creative director. I don't know. I don't want to mix up the story, but that's just the story behind the logo. So I think most of those big companies have a story behind whatever it is they choose to make their logo. That's why you look at some companies' logo, you see red is a constant theme on their logo. You see red. It depends on what they are trying to sell. You see some companies' logo, you see black. That's why you see Nike is black,
Black.
Adidas is stripes, like
Yeah.
white and
Black
black.
and white, yeah.
So there's something the logo is trying to pass
Yeah.
across. So that's what me I think of when I think logo.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking you that
Yeah.
question.
So that's basically
Yeah.
that. I didn't want it to be the very basic stuff that people did, so that's why I paid for it. And I've worked with the designers that made the logo before.
Okay,
They're
okay.
really good. They make flyers and everything. Also in Boeing University,
Okay.
Quartet Creative, right? So they're really good and everything.
Quartet.
Okay. Right. And then also, unless I believe, right, this might not work for everyone. I'm just telling you my thought process. Like, now I'm not giving advice. I'm
Okay.
just speaking like my thought process. If I
Like
make
you
a
said, in one
finance
of the take it with a pinch of salt.
with a pinch of salt,
See, I'm not a financial advisor, but I just wanted to take it with a pinch of salt.
so if you commit yourself to something, like if it costs you to do something, you are more invested in that particular thing. The reason
Yeah.
why so many people, as you cited earlier, start podcasts and don't,
See it
don't
through.
continue, don't see it through, it's because the barrier for entry is too low, right? Anyone can just pick up their phone.
Yeah, it's so
the
easy,
reason.
yeah.
It's so easy. Same thing with
And I create a Spotify account and
that's
just
all. That's all. Right. Same thing with businesses. You can just go and create an Instagram
same thing with
account.
YouTube.
Same thing with YouTube. You just go there. The barrier to entry is low, and of course, it's really good. For some of us that don't have the resources yet.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've realized that if you commit to something, if it costs you something, whether it costs you your time or it costs you your resources, then you are more determined to do that particular thing. So I didn't want to get these things done for free because I wanted to commit to it for a bit.
Wow. So because I believe that one of the ways we make progress is by reducing friction. Especially if you are creating something.
Yeah.
One of the ways you make progress.
Yeah.
Just reduce friction.
Reduce the
Have you read
friction.
Atomic Habits by James Clear?
I've not read it. I read it too. That's why I said.
I wanted to say, so you don't read books? Because I read a lot, man.
Yeah.
I read a lot. And you mentioned in one of your videos, I think you're wasting your 20s, and you spoke about reading books.
Yeah.
Bro, I think reading books is one of the best thing you can do for yourself if you want to see how people think and also affect the way you think.
Yeah.
And like Bishop Odepo will say, one of the ways you rub your minds with greatness is by reading books written by these great people. You may not get to meet them ever, but by consuming whatever it is that they have written, you get to rub minds with them, because their books, which is full of words, is their thoughts in print. So you don't have time to pay for 20 minutes with this person, but you can, read their books.
Yeah.
And one of the points James Clear outlined in that book is, if you want to do something,
Reduce the friction.
reduce your friction, make it obvious. That's what he said. Make it obvious. So I believe friction limits progress.
Yeah.
So if I want to do something, I have to talk to this person, then wait for 3 of them to respond before I do it. I'm like, when would I finally do it? By the time you get back to me, I've lost interest. So with what you said about the whole logo stuff, I think you committing was very okay, like saying, okay, I want to pay for this and all, but you didn't, I don't know how to put it, you didn't limit yourself. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. You didn't limit yourself to the fact that I have to wait for my logo before I start. I don't know if you get, I don't know if you get where I'm going. You want to start a company now. You have not even thought about the functionality, the stuff. You're like, if I see the logo, when I know how the logo is, let me get a bit. I'm like, that friction is too. Start where you are. Start with what you have. I remember when I started my podcast, I didn't even have a logo, so I just used my face, my first headshot ever. I just used it, work in process. Then I guess somebody didn't like my face. Part of people are asked to critique it. And it's like, the name of your podcast is Work in Process. Why are we seeing your face? Look for something that has to do with a boot or something that has to do with working and all. And then I went online and searched for something like that. And I found one. And that's what I'm still using till date, which will still change if I also get someone to design a logo for me and all. But I was not, that friction was not, that friction was not there. I was like, I want to see what I'm doing first so that I can know if it's going to work. So that's where I'm trying to, I think that's off, right? Oh, God. Okay, this one is still working. You can just have this. Okay. So I don't know, that's where I'm. So let me just ask. I'm comfortable with this, I can leave. So let me just ask. Why do you think that app is needed in Boeing University?
Okay. Should I carry on?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right. I think it's needed because when I was in 100 level again, right, I was helping. I found out that some of my, we're doing math. We're doing math like as a course. It was a general course, so not just computer science students were doing it. Physiotherapy students, physiology students, mechatronics. Like was it? All of us are in 100 level, so math 101, right? And um, should I say it? The lecturer was not teaching well, basically, right? And a lot of people were complaining, what's up, what's happening, how we're just coming into school. You are saying, oh, we should have learned all of these things before and everything, and people were struggling. And math came easy to me. So whilst I didn't understand what the lecturer was saying, all I needed to do was watch a couple YouTube videos and I will get it. And that's exactly what I did. So I watched the YouTube videos and I made YouTube videos on that particular topic. Do you get right? So the courses that we're doing in school, I just made videos on that. So I'll solve some exercises that we solved in class and that they didn't understand, right? And I'll solve it in my own way. And apparently they understood, right? So I sort of like created another YouTube channel for that where I was posting that. Name of channel is DTA Math, right? I then for
the Apex.
for not for the Apex. At that time, Apex, I was just in 100 level. All I wanted to do was create course for people, videos for people rather,
So you're making
math videos for them on YouTube
Okay.
for free, right? And I went to check one time and I saw that each video had hit over 5k views. I think right now one is on 9k and one is on 8k, something like that, right? Because separate channel. I was not focusing on it. I was just doing it to help people and everything. And I realized that when test was coming, exams were coming, people would text me and say, Tega, please, can you just make a video on this particular course? Can you make it? Tega, when are you going to make a video? When are you going to make a video? I remember I made a video one time because sometimes I read like towards the exam time. Again, this obviously this is no advice. Please don't do this, right? But it's just how I found my life to be. So one time I made a math video of a test we're going to have the following day. I finished making the video by I think 12 a.m. and we're meant to have. So it means that if you had slept, you would not see that video because the next morning by 8 a.m. we're having the test. And some people were still awake because I said I was going to make a video. You were awake waiting for the video. We wrote the test. Some people met me after and said, Tega, that video you made helped me do well in this test, basically, right? So people started asking me when I go to make the video and everything. So just by virtue of that number of people asking me is what informed the decision to go ahead with Apex. That I can only help people in my program, in my college, right? Because that's all I know, right? I can't help the co-head students. I can't help the law students because I'm not taking their courses. But then I know there are people that can teach like me. Maybe they just not had the idea before. Maybe they don't have the reach to do it. So we are creating the platform for people who want to help others, right? And for students who also want to take advantage of online video courses, basically, right? Some people don't like tutorials. I personally don't go for tutorials that often simply because of my time.
Like
Tutorials on campus, and it's not because I don't like someone that Elvis, he's an academic director in my college, teaches profoundly, right? He should just become a lecturer. Right? He teaches really well, but sometimes I don't attend simply because of my time. I know a lot of people have this issue, but if you had a video course with you in your room, you can watch it at any point in time. You can reach out to the instructor even if you need more understanding and all the rest.
It's also available. You can reach out to the instructor. Even aside from watching the video, you can personally reach out to the instructor and get this.
Can you explain it better? Yeah, that's the idea.
I guess that's what they're taking 70%.
Yeah.
All right, I think that mic is also blinking, but it's still working fine.
Okay.
Let me just ask it. It was a second to the last question.
Okay.
I don't still want to rush it because of the mic.
Okay.
Yeah, this has happened several times. I don't still want to rush it because of the mic. What would be your advice to someone that wants to start a business as a student on campus?
Ask people first. That's my first and I think the best advice I can give anyone. Ask people, right? Like I said, I've started like 3 businesses prior. All of them have failed, and the reason is because I didn't ask anybody. I thought that okay, seems like a brilliant idea. I like it. Maybe other people will like it. I create an Instagram account, share it, maybe do a broadcast list, share it to some people, and nobody purchases or nobody buys. I think that's the issue. Ask people. Before, I started the business, I created a Google form, right? If I get 100 people to respond to this and they are giving an affirmative sign, I can go ahead, right? So do some sort of like a test, take a survey, share it. Wait, I think we should pause it.
Okay. Okay.
So just test it basically, right? So ask people questions. So that's my and ask them if they'll be able to pay for it. Don't just ask them if the idea is good, right? I didn't ask my mommy, as much as I love their opinion, I didn't ask my mom, I didn't ask my dad. Those were not the people that I asked. I asked people that did not
That
give a
was a
hoot
few.
about me, that don't want to, they are not eager to support me. There's no debt in them to support me, right? Because if you're asking the closest people to you, we like supporting each other, which is good, but at the same time, it can also be very hurtful,
Yeah.
right? So if you want to start a business on campus, take a test, do a survey, ask people, try and get at least 50 to 100 people to respond to it. And if it's something they like, then you can go ahead.
All right, so this is the first time I'm reaching the full maximum capacity of these mics. I charged them like throughout yesterday,
Yeah.
and then I discovered, okay, I think 12 hours max is their like capacity,
Yeah.
and we're having issues with the mic. So probably listening to me now, you'll be hearing that my voice is echoing or something. So let me just ask Tega the last question on that. So, what would you say? What would you say for you coming from video editing and all that kind of business stuff, and you know seeking to make money and still add value to people? What would you say is the biggest thing that you have learned on that journey, on that process, building a business, running a startup, and stuff like that? What would you say is the biggest thing that you have learned and you would like to share with people?
Okay. Offer value, offer tangible value, right? I'm not going to call some of the businesses that I don't think are valuable, because obviously I know some people that are listening are in those businesses, right? uh,
I saw what you did there.
I'm not going to
Yeah,
call
yeah.
some of them, right? But then
Safety
um
reasons.
for safety reasons. But I also think it depends on your goal, right? Like if your goal is just to make side income, then please go ahead. You can do anything you want, right? You don't even need to do a test, just do anything you want. But the way I have always seen businesses is, because I'm thinking futuristically. I'm thinking of when I leave school, would this thing still be worth it to me? Would this still, or is it able, this business that I'm starting, is it able to put food on my table and the table of my children, right? So once that question is an affirmative for me, that's the line I'm thinking in, right? So I'm usually thinking long term, and I find out that some people are not. And if you want a side income, maybe because your pocket money is not enough, like, please go ahead, that's totally fine. But this advice is more for people that want to make a business that would last for a while, right? Even after you're done with school, maybe it's helping to support what you're doing, or it's even your main stream of income, right? Especially for people that don't want to work under anybody and everything. And it's basically offer value. Like, ask what value is your solution providing, because at the end of the day, people are inclined towards value, right? The more value that you give, the more people want to get your stuff, right? It's how it works everywhere. So just make sure that it's valuable. That's the best advice that I can
So
give.
all you are saying now is just not value.
Just value, right?
Seek to create value.
Seek to create value. Money flows in the direction of value.
Mhm.
Money flows in the direction of value. As simple as that. Money flows in the direction of value.
Nice. All right, so thank you so much, Tega, for doing this with me again. This is the second one. Now um, we have another episode of you talking about your business and how you started business and how you know were seeking to give value to the society or to the community that you are presently in.
Yeah.
But despite that, the vision is still very large. You still want to reach out to a whole lot of people. So you are not even just looking at it for Bowen, you're looking at it for beyond Bowen. After school, can I continue to do this? So that's what you're looking at.
That's what.
So that's like thinking 5 steps ahead.
Yeah.
Do you know Patrick Bet David? Oh God. It's amazing that you think and talk like all these guys. That's why I'm mentioning
Yeah.
their names to you. But basically, that's what you're just sharing with me now. And I'm reading a book to learn it. You, it's just inside you. You don't even know the guy. You don't know the guy. It's inside you. I am reading a book to learn it, and you're already thinking 5 steps ahead. And I can't wait to see what you would do in the space. And I'm really excited that you're already thinking about this now. Um, and I like what you said. You said money flows in the direction of
Value.
value. And my counsel to everybody listening to this episode of the podcast will be, what can you do to create value for where you are now?
Mhm.
I know you will change the world. I know you will take over the world. But where you are now,
Yeah.
what are you doing to create and give value? And it's only when you do that that you are fully working in purpose.
Mhm.
And that is when money would flow
Yeah.
towards you.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Tega, for doing this with
Thank
me.
you so much, David.
I'm sorry for the mic issue,
No
but
problem at
we
all.
have to manage it like that.
Yeah.
So I'll see you guys on the next one. Please make sure you listen to the episodes and leave your comments. All right. Bye.